the thing which I'm pretty sure I said on Thursday, and that I feel quite strongly, is if Conte could just shut up, I would think he was having a really positive season. Notwithstanding 45 bad minutes against Borussia Dortmund, I think that having dropped 4 points from 11 games now, and being, not in a perfect position in that Champions League group, but having played some really good football against Barcelona and Borussia Dortmund, I would have said, you know what, you have taken this club forward from where it was. Things are going in the right direction, without question. It's all what's happening in his head. Like it's all the sort of negativity is purely in Antonio Conte's mind for me at this point.
Now, this is what's interesting. On social media after our last show with Stuart Robson, people are a little upset in the sense that, they don't necessarily think that we're giving Antonio Conte a lot of love. Mm-hmm. And what I wanted to make clear is that all three of us, I think, thought that they would either produce a title challenge or actually win the title.
No.
So in no way...
I didn't say that.
You didn't?
I thought Napoli would be the closest challengers to Juventus, speaking honestly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had Inter finishing third.
Oh, okay, so basically only me. Once again, I do it. But we've always, let's be honest, we've always thought that Conte is a guy who can really do something special. Mm-hmm. So we're not doubting his ability to do that. It's more his behaviour and all the drama that he brings with it. I thought it's interesting that they came back against Verona with the 2 goals, and Barella taking off his shirt just showed you how happy it is. And I mean, for a guy who just came from Cagliari, it's remarkable he made the difference for an Antonio Conte team. What I do want to point out is that I do have an issue. Like I said, I do feel like when it comes to his tactics, against quality, and I know people get really angry with me saying that, but I am going to reiterate that because I do think the wheels come apart at some point in games with Conte and teams that really know how to control the ball and do rather extraordinary things in midfield. And I thought that happened against Barcelona. I thought that happened against Borussia Dortmund. It even happened when he was at Juventus against Fiorentina. Do you remember when they just conceded 3 goals in a few minutes? This is something that tends to happen quite a lot for him. And I'm not necessarily sure he's addressed it. But this is not taking away anything from him because he's a winner. And I think that he will produce a wonderful title challenge. And he's done amazing work with Lukaku. I think Lautaro is now quite a good player, to be honest, which we didn't see that coming from his first few appearances. Even Alexis Sanchez and his cameo role in his career so far has been fantastic. So he's certainly turned all these players from Sensi to Barella to really perfect stars. It's just that when it comes to his behaviour and how much he asks of people and how many alibis he seeks when there is a loss, he tends to never look inward so much, and that is why we criticise.
I'm going to ask this. What good teams has he faced? Because you made a good point about when he faces quality, right? What good teams who are actually good at the time has he actually faced this season? Because I'm not sure. We mentioned Borussia Dortmund, leave aside the hype and the amazing stuff they did in the summer. This was a team that was on a horrendous run, and tons of problems, tons of injuries.
And they lost 4-0 to Bayern.
Barcelona have kind of been a bit of a mess for a while, and memory serves, they faced them like when Messi was just coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they lost. I'm trying to remember who they've played in Serie A that's any good.
Juventus they lost.
I mean, I just wonder.
I think it's a slightly unfair standard because how many, if you're going to do that with Barcelona, even sort of not qualifying as good, how many teams are there in all of Europe who you're going to put as this would be an acceptable level of challenge? Because even bad Barcelona are better than most.
Inter.
Well, apparently. Although, do you know what's weird about that is I actually don't know if I agree with that because I genuinely think Inter were very unlucky to lose that game.
No, they definitely were unlucky, and I think they deserve more out of the game. But what I'm saying is, I don't know that he's been tested at that level yet, and I think he's always kind of walking the fine line between he's a winner type thing, and the other thing which he says, which is very true, which is he inherited despite all the money they spent in the summer, he inherited a poorly put together team. Yeah. Well, at least they addressed some of it in the summer, but it is a long way back. They haven't. The triplete was a long time ago. Instant success just because you're Conte isn't a given.
Yes and no. I mean, they'd qualified for successive Champions Leagues. They didn't do it convincingly, but they'd done it, which is more than Inter had done for a few years before that. So they had moved.
Yes, I refer you back to Ramsey and being the tallest elf in the forest.
So, yes.
He was Arsenal's player of the year.
I mean, this is exactly why I didn't think they would even be the number one
I'm just
contender.
saying,
I thought
there's a
Napoli would
big
be.
job in front of them, right?
I just don't think so. I'm sorry, I just don't agree. Like, who else has purchased all these wonderful... I mean, if Napoli had Lukaku, I'm pretty sure Napoli would be in second place right now, you know? I'm not telling you Lukaku's the world's greatest striker, but let's be honest, they invested a lot in the market and they bought a lot of great players that everyone wanted.
But they were
so to be
starting-
honest, anything short of second place is a failure.
But this is what I'm talking about. You're balancing the two things, right? You want to generate the excitement and give the impression that you're on the way back, because that builds confidence and you can go head-to-head with Juventus. And he's the first to do it, because obviously when they win, it's down to him. When they lose, we're all reminded of the dreck that was there before.
Yeah, but I won't accept that it's a bad team. It's probably one of the best defences.
I absolutely am not saying they're a bad team. I also think that, like, just to sort of clarify where we're saying good and not good, like, there's second place, and of course, yes, in the end, there's winning or there's losing, but there's second place and there's second place. If Inter were second but already 10 points behind Juventus, I would be looking on them differently to the fact that they're 1 point behind Juventus. When Juventus have dropped no points all season practically, you know, like Inter are a genuine title challengers here, which they have not been in a long time.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.